I know at the beginning of the show, you all were talking about having been homeschooled.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I have experienced that. Between mid-first grade and mid-sixth grade, my mom chose to homeschool me.
Mm-hmm.
And she did a better job than some of the other people I saw. Some people in our church cult thing, definitely, they called it homeschooling. But I think it was just keeping their kids out of school.
Yeah.
Not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
But long story short, I'm also a lesbian. And I have been in a relationship with a committed partner for almost 2 years. And we're best friends and we grew up with each other.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But definitely my upbringing, even though I've been out of it for a really long time now, I'm 34, and I left the cult when I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely hindered knowing what I like and being able to talk about it, and also having people between the last time I dated the person I'm with and now not being healthy either, because it's also in our culture to not be sex positive,
Mm-hmm.
like even
Right.
between fellow women for some reason. It definitely hindered it. And mostly I just wanted to let people know out there, you're not alone.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
live in North Carolina now. We moved in together 5 months ago, and I see homeschooling stuff everywhere.
Really?
It's not
Okay.
particularly triggering, but I am like a concerned citizen type of person. Every time I see those, I just like want to knock on the door when it's open and be like, I'm child services, no children for you.
Yeah.
Because it's the Bible Belt. So most of these people are probably religious, and most of them probably have somewhat of the same motivation that my parents had, which was to make sure that I was being taught their particular type of Christianity, because my partner and I grew up together. But by that, I mean that we met in sixth grade when my mom decided to stop homeschooling me, and the person I'm with happened to also go to that same school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know if
Like-
North Carolina, I'm not sure. I know only very few states have actual requirements for homeschooling regulation in terms of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I would not wager in
Probably
favor
not.
of North Carolina.
Probably
I find
not.
it very interesting that they have some of the harshest policies, well, certainly in America, but really in much of the developed world, towards trans folks. And also, as a Texas show, we get a huge number of North Carolina calls. I mean, I feel like there's a connection there just because of the oppression, honestly, that's going on. So
Yes.
you're right. You are in good company. There are lots of other people who are going through what you're going through. And, you know, I don't know where you're at in healing from all this, but I'll just say again, there's lots of opportunities out there for you. There is a lot of healing that's available and plenty of strategies that do work. So I hope that you're, going into this relationship with all of the support and healing that you need.
It definitely helps it for both feminists.
Yeah.
That would help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
She's the
kind of a requirement for a healthy relationship in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Though, congratulations on moving in.
You're right. North Carolina is special.
Yes.
I went to Pride in August, and there was a preacher, and they kept trying to remove him, and he just wouldn't go away. It's like that bug that just won't die. Go away.
Metaphor for religion as
Yeah.
a whole, anity? Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness. Well,
Thankfully, the state does finally have a Democrat as governor, but I don't know what that means. Because, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Thanks for taking my call.
Yes. No, thank you so much
I'm
for calling
probably
in.
further along in healing than she is. She stopped going to church last year. I'm really proud of her.
Aw.
I won't say her name because I don't have her consent to do that. And she's not out as an atheist. The last way to find for the, I don't know if either of her brothers watch this show.
Right. That's a good
I feel like
consideration.
it's probably safe to assume that there's probably not very many Eilishes in the United States. But yeah.
Well, it's you and Billy, so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get that a lot. I'm sorry for inflicting that upon you.
It's okay. I just wish that we pronounced it the same way so I could get a little help from that.
There you go. There you go. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for calling in and sharing your story. It is good to know that,
Yep.
we're not alone, and we've all had these similar experiences and can empathize with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom literally didn't do any sex ed at all. And literally what she did when I was in college and I started hanging out with I got engaged to a guy, because we all experiment at some point. Yeah. And she was listening into our phone calls somehow and
Goodness.
basically told me, like, in more wording, but like, don't do it. It's gross.
Oh,
I wish that I could ask my mom questions about that.
that makes me very sad. Yeah.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Friends of mine from when I was younger, one of them had said something that's actually kind of sad. And as I grow older, I'm thinking about it and I'm like, that might actually be true. One of them said, your parents only had sex twice, once for you and once for your brother.
Yep. That's
Probably true. And it's very sad.
yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
It's sad if it's a result of oppression or a lack of feeling like you can enjoy it. I know there are people out there who just don't like sex, and that's also completely valid. But if it is a situation where your parents could have enjoyed themselves and found that there was a block there in terms of what they were taught or what they believed, that is kind of heartbreaking, and I'm sorry to hear
My
that.
mom is also deeply conservative. In my late 20s, I did directly ask my mom why she didn't give me the talk, especially because I found that many of the people who I considered friends at the time who had gotten some version of the talk, they got some sort of information and I didn't. And she told me, she's a nurse, told me right up, you should not be knowing about things that you should not be doing.
Oh.
And before that conversation or something, face off, she told me about a 17-year-old girl who had shown up in the ER. She worked in ambulatory surgery because 17-year-olds' bodies are not ready for pregnancy. And because of her telling me the legal available version of that story, because, you have to abide by HIPAA laws.
Right.
I
Please
literally
do.
looked her
Please.
right in the eyes and like, Mom, you tell me stories all the time. You know that doesn't work.
Right.
Come on.
Exactly. More knowledge, more education is never a bad thing.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you so much
She's
for
also
calling
against
in.
yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Best of luck
Yep,
out there in North Carolina.
Thanks so much.
It's not as
Thank
bad
you.
as I thought it would be. Huntersville is very nice. But yeah. Yeah. It's not
Have a
like
nice night.
the sticks or something. Thank you. You too.
Absolutely. Bye.